Hello and welcome back to the Lazy Susan Revolution podcast, co-hosted by Sean, Mary, and Chris Ruse. Today, I have a couple questions set up for all y'all, as...
Awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We're good at that.
So today I was looking over everything I had to do for my to-do list for the week, and I am working on applying to college as usual, since, senior things, you know.
Yes.
So I was working on my honors college application for Iowa State University, and I noticed that they had some pretty interesting essay questions that I could probably use some help coming up with ideas for, and I think you guys will enjoy.
Well, as a ex-college applicant myself, I believe that I may or may not be ready. What do you think, Chris? Are you ready?
Well, I haven't started thinking of college at all, so maybe this will be a good start.
Okay, perfect. Without further ado, question 1. Select a single book, film, or video game that you think everyone in your generation should read, see, or play. Why do you think so? Any thoughts yet?
Everyone in my generation,
From my experience, I feel like everybody in my generation reads the same books, films, and video games.
that is a really good point, because, everything's mainstream, or, well, kind of, sort of. Some people have, their... Man, let me think about this one. Chris, do you have an off-the-bat, you know movies and stuff better than me, but, do you have an off-the-bat, that's the one? Because, I just want to say Lord of the Rings for everything, and I don't know why.
I was thinking that too.
Hey, that's book, video game, and movie.
It's everything.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that, or a Narnia type thing.
Ooh, I see
Okay.
what you mean there.
Too. I mean, I know people my age are big video game players. So if you went video game style, then I think Myst is a great game
Oh,
because problem solving and gets your brain thinking a little bit more.
that's true.
But if you're thinking movies, books, something like a Narnia is good because of imagination and different creatures, and it's cool to be in a different world, in a Lord of the Rings or a Narnia, and all the characters, and you can kind of pick and choose which you're and just imagination standpoint. So that's what I kind of think is good.
Yeah, I agree, because I feel like as we're all growing up, it seems like the whole imagination thing is just leaving as we join the workforce. I don't know.
I've thought about that a lot, how, we used to consume different kinds of media that required a lot of thought or just using creativity. Now it's kind of people give us ideas, so we kind of curate out our creativity. So oh, I heard this YouTuber say that this is a good idea.
Yeah.
And or even it, when we do arts and crafts, usually we see a video of somebody.
The directions.
Yeah, we follow the directions. It's kind of odd. I had a similar thought about creativity. I think if we wanted to go the game route, oddly enough, I think Minecraft is still relevant. I think it's aged well. It had a weird period, but now it's kind of
It's
even
evened
my
out.
friends play it now.
It's the computer version of Legos.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's true, and you literally can do whatever you want with Legos. They come in the box and with the directions, but every kid ends up just making their spaceship, you know?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
DIY customizable spaceship.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, and I feel like we've lost that, except for a few things like Minecraft and other things like that.
Yeah, I think we hit it on the knob there.
Yeah.
Creativity.
Creativity.
Okay, question number 2. In your view, is it better to pursue a goal vigorously but make mistakes, or to avoid but achieve less, or take longer to reach the goal?
So are those
Explain.
3 different options? Go through them slower,
read
because they
them
kind of blur
a couple
together.
times, but I was a little bit confused myself. So I'm going to
Break it down
break
a
it
little
down.
bit.
So, would you rather pursue a goal vigorously but make mistakes along the way?
Okay.
Or not be as ambitious and
Achieve the goals?
take longer to achieve the goal, do it slowly, and make sure, as you do it, you
It's-
make no mistakes.
Ooh, that's a really debatable topic.
Yeah. I think I can make an argument for both of them.
Okay.
If you go for a goal vigorously and make a lot of mistakes, it's fine because you can just work with your mistakes and make it better. But if you take too much like time and go really slowly, then maybe you won't make as many mistakes, because the big thing is mistakes are helpful in reaching your goal.
Of course.
And if you work really slowly, then there's no real mistakes. But
Yeah.
the upside of that is you're doing everything really precisely, and it will work to your benefit. So it's an either or, it's a coin flip. I mean, for me it is.
I'm having similar vibes because I think they're addressing two different things in the question. Like, one thing is about how big should your ambitions be, like how high should you shoot, and the other one is about like how meticulous you should be, and my answer to the question would probably be like, have small achievable goals but still make mistakes. Like, don't worry about making it perfect,
Yeah.
because anytime I've tried to do something, there's most of the time when I get halfway through it, I'm like, no, this isn't actually what I'm trying to do, and I reorient myself. So if I set myself up for a long goal, then like I'm probably going to lose a lot of progress.
True.
For me, it's more about learning, so I would do like a bunch of small things and still be fine with making mistakes.
Exactly. When I first read that, I thought, like, I feel like it's almost impossible to not make mistakes. Even if you take a really long time and try to reach for not making mistakes on the way to your goal, it's kind of impossible to do that.
bad
'Cause
mindset.
If you have a goal, the whole point of it is that you don't know how to get there, and it's going to take some effort.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to see exactly what you have to do. You're bound to make mistakes either way. So
Yeah.
I feel like goal reaching does take a lot of vigorous effort, but it also takes a lot of time and patience. So it really is both mixed into one.
Yeah. It's a weird way to ask
Yeah.
the question.
Interesting. Okay. Question 3 is, if you could create a class, not in your planned major, that let you pursue a personal interest, what would it be and why?
Oh.
So you're making a class that hasn't been seen at college before.
Like, it literally doesn't exist.
Yeah.
In like, I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking of like electives, like, you know how they have like dance classes and art
Right.
classes.
So we're just thinking of a class that would be interesting to be there, or something in my personal interest.
In your interest, like something you would see that on your like course list, and you'd be like, yes, that's for me.
Awesome,
I love
yeah.
doing that, and I could do that all day.
Okay.
Something that makes you jump out of your chair because you love it so much.
I mean, the stuff that I'm interested in doing, I'm pretty sure is a class already.
Yeah, that's the problem. There are classes for everything.
Yeah.
What were you going to say that you'd be interested
Well, it's like I want to go into sports broadcasting, media, communications field, and I know that like schools do teach you all of the ins and outs of like, this is how you do it behind the camera, this is how you edit a script, this is how you
in?
actually
Yeah, like journalism and things like that.
stuff like that. But like maybe like an internship opportunity like in college where I can like go down onto the field and do what
Oh,
it's
Or
like,
an internship, I see.
because I think the stuff that I want to do is already a class,
Yeah.
but just
Yeah.
more opportunities to practice my
Yeah.
field
So
of
you wouldn't
study.
you wouldn't go out of the planned major. You just like that major. So
Yeah.
So, did the question say
Outside of your
outside
plan.
of your major?
Yeah.
I think you do bring up a good point, though. Like, even I noticed this in
you
college.
pick your major because it's what you like.
Yeah. And they teach you how to do the stuff, but they don't actually give you experience. Like, I know
Yeah.
how to code, but I've never made like a professional application before, and
True.
that's what I'm gonna probably do.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
scary to think that
Yeah.
once you get your job, you're going to have to do something you've never done before, and it's going to have consequences because other people are going to be in
Yeah.
contact with your work.
Yeah, so I would just say have more opportunities in college for the field that you're going for, because it's one thing to learn the stuff like you said, and it's another thing to apply it to real life, because if you don't know how to apply it to real life, then you won't be proficient in your job.
I I definitely agree with that. I started thinking in a different direction. It's still kind of related to your major, but it's a bit different. It would be something along the lines of combining different majors into one class to put out to make some sort of cool combined project. So it's hard to think of an example, but
Okay.
you take people who are film majors and you take people who are broadcasting majors and people who are like different
Like
things
art
that work
majors,
together
yeah.
to make a cool product at the end of the day. And maybe you have like web designers making a cool web interface for people.
Okay.
And I don't know, it's like, to get the
More of a
real world
combo class.
Yeah, a combo class. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
working in an industry where everyone has the different
Yeah,
skills.
that would work a lot.
Yeah. I don't know, I didn't think quite as logically as all of you guys did.
That's us.
I saw that question and I'm like, I love dog agility. Like Oliver and I are little
Oh,
dog.
that'd
Oh,
be cool.
Yeah. Because I know it was a bit of a pain for me to like decide what I possibly wanted to major in college, and as of now, I'm heading towards the environmental science or maybe forestry degrees. But I have a lot of interests, and a lot of them I can't really follow up in college. Like I love dogs and dog training,
Yeah.
but you can't like major in dogs.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, the scary thing is sometimes you can
Yeah.
because they know people want to, but then it's like,
But
what
then
are you going to do with that?
Yeah, it was kind of really sad having my dreams crushed when I realized
It's not
I
a
couldn't
thing.
just own dogs and have that be my job.
It's like, meet on the 50-yard line of the football field for class today. We have some dogs here, and you're going to do some agility.
Yeah, where would the dogs come from? Would they just be campus dogs? Rent
Yeah,
a dog?
maybe, I don't know. Or if I wanted to make it meaningful, you could like go to the Humane Society or something and
Oh, yeah.
pick
Train.
out your dogs and train them, and
Yeah.
it'd be fun because like agility is a kind of thinky sport. You've got a course you've got to memorize and complete it perfectly in
You have
like
to-
a minute.
You have to learn how to, because dogs are kind of like, coding a computer. They're just,
Oh, yeah.
they're just in
Yeah.
their own world.
They-
You have
all
to
they-
know how to tell
They
them.
do what you tell them
Yeah, exactly.
to do.
They do exactly
Yeah.
what you tell them to do
Yeah.
most
so,
of the time.
What do you think about sports in general? Do you think that they're important to education, or do you think they're just something fun we do and we like to watch, and that's why
I feel
they're
like-
still there?
Everything can be important to education.
Yeah.
Everything kind of teaches you how to learn, and you can never outgrow learning how to learn. If that makes sense. Because you can come from it from a lot of different perspectives. Like your basic school teaches you how to learn by repetition and like
Right.
reading and I don't know, just people telling you how to do things. But I think extracurriculars like sports, like it gives you like kind of independence because a lot of times like out on the field or whatever, nobody's going to tell you exactly what you need to do in a certain situation. You have to make judgment calls like that.
Yeah, like that's big. I know at my school they've taken like PE credits like completely out of the curriculum because
Whoa, what?
because they know that, well, it was back in like probably 5 years ago, but they know that a lot of people are getting involved into sports.
Oh.
So they're like,
Yeah, and
we
your
don't
school's
really,
big on sports to begin with,
Yeah.
so
people aren't really too happy about PE being taken out because it's,
it's fun. It's a good break from the school day, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun and stuff. And some sports you need to football and basketball, you learn all these plays.
Yeah.
They teach you all these plays, but they're not, especially when you get into higher levels, you teach like kids a basketball play. It's not like you're going up the floor and saying, I'm going to run this play and try to get it to work. It's just stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
If you
you
say,
can control your
oh, the
environment.
defense has given me this, I'm going to pull this play out and run it. And mostly like in like high school basketball, it's just like get open and like set screens and just like there's not really plays.
So what you're saying is that they're not plays, they're situations. They're like simulating.
Yeah.
If this happens, you should probably do something like this.
Yeah, like in practices, if you get like an opponent like a Lindbergh High School or something, and they typically run the 2-3 zone defense.
Classic Limburg.
They run.
You could say anything about Limburg. Classic Limburg.
they run a 2-3 zone or something. Typically, then you'll have your players run this simulation, and they'll be like, "So you're gonna go here. If this happens, this is how you're going to work around it." But mostly, it's just like you said. You just get judgment calls, being like, "This guy's giving me the right side. I'm just gonna take it and go and
Yeah.
score baskets. And if they give me the left side, I'll go to the left side, and vice versa, and like that."
So is it kind of like in a certain situation, you kind of think about what are the possible things that could happen, and then when one of those things happens, because you've already thought about it before you got down there, you're like,
Yeah, type that, and then
Okay.
you make a play, and then the coach comes and being like, "Hey, that's probably not the right play to do if it doesn't work." And sometimes you have those kids that a play is called, and they're just like, "Nah, I'm gonna run my own play,"
Oh, yeah.
and just go down there and do their own thing. Those are kind of annoying, but that's what sports is like on a high school level. But when you're like teaching little kids like how to play
Yeah.
sports,
it's just
Yeah, you
mechanics.
do
and
kind of
stuff.
have
it's
to
the mechanics, it's the
teach
how to shoot the basketball, it's how to throw the football and all that. But like in a general sense, like I'm a big sports guy, and I've had a lot of fun playing some. I've done a lot of sports. I played basketball for most of my life,
Baseball,
track,
yeah.
baseball,
Soccer.
soccer, track, and all that. And a lot of them are like team sport. Like track is very unique as it is a team sport.
But it is
Right,
also
but
it's
individual.
not.
It's
It's
Yeah.
not like you have a coach there that like teaches you how to vault like the first year, and then you come back and then you keep doing it and doing
Yeah,
it,
it's just
and then they
points.
just give you pointers
Yeah,
on how
yeah.
to do it. And I think sports is really important to like a child, because teamwork and working as a team and not being just you, even though you
Yeah.
might be super talented, you got to work with your team, and it can be good. I mean, it can or can't. Like, if your kid is not a sports guy, then go academically. And
Yeah.
But is there anything, like, say I'm not a sports guy, like I either have a disability or it's just not my thing.
not
Yeah.
your
Is
thing.
there anything that can simulate the same benefits I
kinda
would
thing.
get in a different context?
That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
you can work in like a club like robotics or aviation and use your talent, because like robotics is great because you have the actual people who like putting things together, like constructing the robot. You like your guys with the brains that like to program the robot, and you got all those like minds together in one. So if you're not really a big sports guy and you want to use your brain and hardware
The
and stuff,
brains
brain.
and the bronze.
Yeah.
then you go
Yeah,
that
there's also
route.
like
too.
debate club, I guess, if you're into that. I don't know. I feel like I'm not that academically inclined. I don't know. I just don't enjoy it.
Right.
I'm sort of, I guess, on the sporty end, but also I don't do any team sports. So
I think
Yeah.
I think there's a big distinction between like it being interested in very nerdy things and also being academically inclined, because I would consider myself in the boat of being a mega nerd, but also I'm not
Yeah.
academically inclined. Like
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
an average
dabble in
student.
different
Yeah.
groups. I find the nerdy things really interesting and fun, but I'm not like read everything about it and be that kid who knows
Yeah.
everything about Star Wars. you
Yeah.
know? I love the lore,
Yeah.
but like I'm not that
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. You just find your thing, and it might be a lot of things, and you get some aspects of each part to come together for your overall education of life.
What do you see yourself doing when you get to college and you're done doing all your major related coursework and you're like, man, I gotta go hang out and do what? What thing?
See, that's what I keep thinking about. I can't really picture college. I've never been there, and I don't know what it's like. And I don't know. When I picture myself just kind of going outside and seeing what's happening outside. That's probably not realistic.
you're just gonna go stare at a tree with your fork.
Yeah, I'll go climb a tree and then just people watch. No,
That'd be pretty good. That's pretty
I'm
good.
sure that I'll find some clubs to get involved with. Like, I don't know, all of my interests. Maybe there'll be an animal club I could go to, and then there's also other groups like a Newman Center. That's a big thing on my
Oh,
list,
yeah.
is figuring out what has the best Catholic
Yeah,
community.
well, if you join a Newman Center, then you're pretty much set because they do
Friends
stuff
for
all
you.
the time.
They never
Like,
stop. Yeah, I know that, like, from older siblings' perspectives, and Megan Lucas, who we had last week in studio, they told us all about Newman happenings, and I know that would be a great community of friends to.
Yeah.
So you're
hang out
just
with.
gonna sit around a campfire and throw beer cans into it.
We'll see if that's on the list of activities. If that's where the friends are going, I'll maybe check that out. We'll see. Okay, you guys ready for question 4?
Oh yeah, we're okay.
Last one, and it's a little bit open-ended. Home or away? Explain your reasoning.
Home or away?
That's it. Home or away?
Home or away?
Take this any way you want to.
All right, so the Packers are playing later. Are they home or away?
They're away.
All right, away. That's all right. Well, in all seriousness,
Think of everything about your life
all right.
and think about, do you like home
Okay.
or do you like away?
So
Or maybe it's not about what you like, or about what's most important.
away, there's the unknown. It's the chaos. It's the new experiences, and it's the growth and learning. Home
Comfort.
is comfort and family and roots and tradition.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if we're... I hate to be the person to be like, well, both are important, and, you gotta have the both of
Yeah.
them, but,
Like, once you go away, you always realize how much you loved it at home.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is the relationship
The
between...
motivational calendars.
You know what they say, home is where the heart is.
Ah, yes, and if you don't have a heart, you cannot live, so how can we go away? I would say that there's obviously a relation between the two. Being away makes you more fond of home, but being home makes you more want to be away.
Okay, so right now, without thinking that much about it, like, first gut answer, like, if I would ask you on, like, a count of 3, home or away.
All right, let's do it on a
Ready?
count of 3.
You got yours?
Yeah.
One, two, three.
Three.
Away.
Home.
I'm the odd man out. No, I have
If you
to
didn't catch
explain
it,
myself.
Sean was the only one who said away. Okay, now explain yourself.
All right, so obviously you're gonna need a balance, okay? But the end goal is to go out and help the world become a better place. So
That's a
like you
good
can't
point.
like if you stay at home your whole life, that's probably not too cool. But away you can run into problems, but in the end that's what most people are probably called to do is go out, go forth.
Go forth. The mass is ended.
Let's go in peace.
Thanks
Love
be
Love
to
and
God.
serve the Lord. Thanks be to God.
I mean, I like your reasoning on that, but just to, like, expand on that, like, yeah, we're not meant to be in our parents' basements till we're 35 and doing...
At John.
At all of you, our studio's literally our parents' basement.
Not, okay, like,
I'm also...
we get there and we're supposed to, like, learn, like, spew knowledge into, for lack of a better word, and, like, you have this knowledge in your brain and you're supposed to utilize it and give more people information and just more out
By going away.
by going away.
Mhm.
And
He's on
then
it.
and then it's the joy of coming back home to
Ooh.
a warm house, to
Exactly.
to your mom cooking the ham for the
The ham.
the ham
ham?
for the family.
That's a good point. It's cause like it's I would see it as an infinite loop of like you go out,
You come
you come back, and you go out, you come back. But it's like what's the end all? Like what's the end of an infinite
Well,
loop?
There's lots of ways you can look at this. If you're looking at the home and away, so you come from home. That's where your roots are. That's
Alright.
where you're born. That's where you're from. And then you go away, and then occasionally you come back home. But at the end of your journey, once you've become who you are home. You're creating
Whoa.
a new home for yourself.
Whoa, away becomes home.
And if you think about it, even if you're like at home and not doing anything to like enlighten the world on your knowledge or whatever, like you said, you can't really be yourself without starting somewhere. Like home is where you discover who you are, and
Right.
home is where every part of you comes into place so you can go away. You can't have away without home.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really like that point of like when you're away for long enough, but you really know yourself and you've really taken time to build yourself up. Then you've created a new home. You don't have to go
Exactly. You
you know what I
found
mean?
your friends, you found your family if you're going to have a family. Like,
Right.
Yeah, I really like that one too. So what you're saying is you have your starting home, then you go out with your job, create another home, and then just keep like going out and settling and then out and like that, or you're just like,
well, we have a natural. Most of us have a natural inclination to return home once we're feeling lonely or scared of the away. But eventually, once we've traveled through life and discovered everything about ourselves and learned more about the world and are comfortable with ourselves, then we have created a home for ourselves that we don't ever have to leave because the home is in the away.
I like that. The nested homes and aways.
yeah.
Interesting, because if you think about it, not everybody has that home where they can come home to the ham or whatever. Like,
That's true.
but still, it's necessary to start somewhere, even if you do need to get away. If you don't have that grounded, nice family unit, it still, it still teaches you something. But yeah.
Well, that was a very positive note. I think we'll start to wrap up here.
Yes. Thank you for all of your cooperation
Yeah,
with all
we
the
just
questions.
we just wrote your essays for
yeah.
you.
Hopefully once I finish that today, or
We should
actually
just
start working on it.
submit this episode to Iowa State.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like,
Give them just like you make a full size sheet as your submission, but it just has a link to our YouTube video.
I actually can't read, so this is my podcast on my... Yeah, I don't think that'd get me accepted. Oh well. Yeah, thank you for all of your wise answers, and I think we're about ready to sign off. So thank you to all of our listeners for listening to this next episode of Lazy Susan Revolution, and we'll catch you next week in the studio.
See ya next Sunday.
Bye.
Goodbye.